Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Dragon Speed Shop. Well, I guess it's time to play with wheels and tires and show you how I've made these. Kind of take a closer look. I know my camera is not the best. You can kind of see this thing's got a fairly deep offset for the rear wheels. Show you how I've kind of made these. The rear wheels were really simple, but on the other hand, the front ones, you can kind of see this one here has got a deeper offset than this one. These are the stock Revell 32 Ford. I think it's out of the sedan kit that I am using for these. So let's tear into these. Take a closer look here. So the wheels, I'm not quite sure. Well, I guess the tires, I'm not quite sure what they came off of. I just got them kind of in a goodie bag of a bunch of parts and stuff like that, and they fit this truck perfectly. I'm still using the same 32 Ford wheels that I'm using for the front and the back. The only difference, there's the stock wheel, the front and the back. They still sit together like they do factory. The only difference is I had these chrome rings that I just ended up stacking on top of each other. They turned out pretty nice sitting there together, and they actually became the perfect thickness that I needed for this deep offset on this wheel. So there you go. You can see the back part, the front part, and the two chrome rings stacked together. How I made the rear wheels on this truck. For the front, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. This one here is the stock. Pop these out. Again, the stock wheels, front and rear. This one here, I took that same chrome ring that I'm using on the back. These are kind of harder to get apart. Maybe. That same chrome ring that I used on the back, I'm using on the front part of it. And the rest, if I can get this apart, is where the actual modifications. As you can see, this is just the spokes out of that ring. Sanded down the ring, and I've also sanded down the back piece. In comparison, there's what the stock hood, or the stock hood, stock front and the back of the rim look like. There's modified, so I ended up sanding the top part where it would click into the axle and stuff, and then sanded the chrome ring off the front and the back side. So the easiest way for me that I sanded that off, whoa, where'd my block go, is I've just got a sanding block here with some 80 grit sandpaper on it. Flipped it around and just went around this until I had a full, just the spokes. You want to be careful that you don't hit the spokes or anything like that. You don't want to damage those, because that's what's going to give you the look of it. So it's pretty simple. Just sand off the ring, work your way around nice and slow. Till you have just the chrome ring. With these, it doesn't have that big of a ring, so they sand off pretty quickly. Alright, so we're just about down to the right level. And the back side, same thing. just sanding the backside until we get down to the same thickness as what we have here. As it comes together, we'll have to make sure that when the spokes go together that they're not sitting on top of each other, that they are just off to the side a little tiny bit. And then where that chrome ring goes, and as you can see, there's the finished product of the front. You already saw the rear. So pretty easy, pretty simple. Let's give you guys a little update. I've been doing actually quite a bit of work to the truck, a lot of sanding and a lot of prep. So let me get the camera flipped around real quick and I'll give you an update of what's going on the actual truck. Alright, there we go guys, camera flipped around. So what I have done to the truck since the last video, get you in here a little closer, got my little pointer. I have got the coilover shock in. I ended up just taking a square or just some flat styrene, putting it on the bottom here. I'll flip this over, kind of show you guys. So I've still got to sand it and cut it down a little bit, but now you can see that I've got the coilover, and I've also got the headlights figured out. There we go. So both headlights are in. The way I mounted these is the same he has on his truck, is a little bracket that comes off the front mount. Just drill a hole, and then this is all this kind of mock-up, and then that fits perfectly in its little hole. I'll pull this down. So there we go. The other things that I've done is back here underneath the hood, he has the radiator and the fan, and then he has the master cylinder. So if we put the cab back here, this is the, we can take this apart. So I ended up using like the 32 Ford, a lot of the parts I am. There's the electric fan with a little bracket to pull in air, and then there's the radiator sitting there, gave it a little bit of thickness so it wasn't such a small radiator. He's got a fairly big one in his truck, so I'm just trying to replicate that. We can stick that back in its hole, maybe not. But that's what I've done. I'm still working on the hood. You can kind of see here, I had to narrow it in the front, so I ended up cutting a big slit in it. I've got to shove some styrene in there, seal it up with some more glue and get it all sanded, stuff like that. The only major part that I have left to build, I'm going to build off camera, but I've already got one made, and that is his fuel tanks. So I ended up using a gasser style fuel tank. It'd be on the front, cut the ends off right there, and then added a piece of round styrene. They get mounted roughly about right there on the back of the truck. There'll be one on each side. So I've got to get the other one made, get the mount made to hold these. It's really simple. It's just kind of a bracket that goes up, flattens, goes down, and then mounts back to the frame here. So the next video though, we're actually going to have this truck stripped down to its nakedness, everything sanded and ready for paint. So make sure you guys keep in tune with that, because we are going to be doing the rust treatment on the cab, the same rust treatment I did on the 32 Ford, on the cab, hood, and grill. The rest of it is going to be bare metal with a little bit of rust. The motor is blue in his truck, so we'll paint this blue and then we're going to age it make it look dirty, gross, grimy, stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty cool. Following video after that, we'll get the top probably made, the leather canvas that goes on there, and I'll show you how I'm going to make that and how I'm going to attach it to the actual truck. So until next time, guys, this is Dragon Speed Shop. I'm out of here.